Fred C. Nellis, or Fred's Place, as it was commonly called, was an infamous correctional facility in Whittier, California, in Los Angeles County. It was home to many young men whose street activity led them to this place. Today, I linked up with author and Inglewood native Frank Anton Lewis to discuss his time at Fred C. Nellis Correctional Facility back in the mid-90s. When we pulled up to the address, both of us were surprised at just how much things have changed.
This is historic.
So let me guess, it looked nothing like this when you were here.
Not at all.
So back, when were you here? What,
1995.
1995. Talk about gentrification, huh? Now it's nothing but $1 million homes being built.
I can live in Nellis.
So tell everybody where we are, where we were.
This is 11850 Whittier Boulevard, Fred C. Nellis, the first California Youth Authority facility opened in the state of California in 1855. Fight Crip, right here. Now you can get some money and don't have to commit a crime to come live here.
So what did it even look like that?
This is familiar. This is the chapel that was here. Like, there was once a chapel.
Let's
here.
go walk
So
over
we're
there.
in the middle, yeah.
Okay. Shit, let's just walk around
This would be like the bend. Like, we used to walk around this area because this was like the school area. And
right,
there was like a track around there with buildings. So there was little places we would run and fight. Like,
right here in this area where this greenery is right now.
The notorious Norteño, now business owner, this is where he made his name.
Damn, dog.
Madman from Rolling 60s, like, this was Nellis.
Fred C. Nellis. I've heard it a few times on my channel.
It wasn't as bad as YTS because this was where the youngsters come from. The young ones start here.
Okay.
This was where you had to be 12 to anywhere from 12 to 18, 19. And these individuals here were just learning. This is where we started at. And it was a very historical part of our YA life. This is where the terminology YA baby comes from. As for my YouTube channel, this is where I get that from, because we were raised here by correctional officers and policies and procedures from the state of California. Now I sit here as a free man with a book deal and a college degree, proud to say I made it out.
Man.
There's people jogging in Nellis.
Isn't that crazy, homie?
And she ain't trying to catch nobody. No fight. God is good.
Yeah, I know for a fact these houses have been built within the past 10, 15 years, just from knowing the area. And as you can see, they're still building right across the street from where him and his...
Has it been going that long? Wow, yeah, there is some, hey, I see some dust on the walls.
Damn. When did they close?
I was here in 95, and I heard they closed in 2000.
Okay.
That's just, I'm not official on that, but that's what I heard through the sister. No, I'm wrong, not 2005.
Okay. Do you know why they closed?
It was like, let's see how, like, certain things go out, like that are in demand, like in the marketplace. The youth offender went out. When Gray Davis changed the law, making the age limitation from 16 to 14 to be tried as juveniles to adult, they ran out of commodity. They didn't have business. They went out of business. Basically, to be honest, the youth authority ran out of kids to place here because the government already did enough, what do they call it, conditioning. I call it brainwashing. They call it conditioning, treatment, and training. I call it brainwashing and getting us ready to be better criminals to make it to the California Department of Correction. It's just a bigger buck for the government. And now they can sell their property that they had here for multi, they getting rent now. They couldn't pay for us. It's like slavery if we really look at it. After slavery was over, Willie Lynch and them decided to make a new plan. Like, okay, it looked like Abe's gonna break down and sign that amendment into effect, that 16th thing, and basically giving them a different path of slavery. So they went to gangs, drugs, domestic violence, other entities to keep us enslaved without knowing we were enslaved. And when that ran out here in this tense, now that was in the 1865. Now we're here in 2022, and they couldn't keep juvenile offenders in California because law made them go to prison, and they actually lost money because it was more to house a juvenile than as an adult. So now let's make that up. These are the kids like myself, Batman, Trub from Trub, Crumb from East Coast, Madman from 60s, the multiple hundreds of us that grew up as YA babies right here.
Fred C. Nellis. Okay, so in your best of memory, give us like a breakdown. So you said this was like a playground area. You said the chapel area was there. Yeah. Like what was in that area?
We start cottages. Like this is, to be honest, it's so thrown off because without the fences and the perimeters telling me where I can and cannot go, I'm lost with direction. But how Nellis was set up, you had a cottage would be probably this whole green grass. That's about the size of a unit, which they call a cottage. So for example, this would be Jackson Cottage, which housed 150 inmates. You would have a dormitory with bunk beds. Then you'd have another dorm side of the bunk beds would be single bunks. Then you'd have a wall and there'd be rooms. That was the process. You start off phase 1 on the bunk beds, work your way to phase 2 to the hallway, and then you get into the room as a phase 3. That was the highest level of privilege to try to keep us from beating up each other. They try to give you incentives. And if I would have known I could invest while we used to have landscaping here. So I'd be around here like what these individuals are doing to make probably $25 to $30 an hour. I was doing for 35 cents right here. And chasing enemies with the shovels and stuff like that. It was violent here. And there were no rules. And this was the general area. And I want to say, I'm gonna look this up, but I think they couldn't move this building. I remember hearing something about Nellis
like
couldn't be torn down. Yeah, they couldn't move that.
Well, let's
That's
walk
a
over
piece
there.
of Nellis, yeah.
Damn. So you were here in what year?
1995, I pulled up here after leaving Norwalk. Okay. So when you get to YA, you go to, if you're from Southern California, which starts from Ventura to San Diego, you'll come to Norwalk SRCC. That's the Southern Reception Center and Clinic. And most youthful, like 13 to 16, 15, you're coming here. And most were scared to come here.
Were you scared, honestly?
No, I wasn't scared at this point because when we were in Norwalk, we already came with an army. I came with Lil Solo from Swan, May from Campanella, Green Eyes from Inglewood family. It was multiple homies, and we knew what we were getting into. So it was a different feel as when I got to Norwalk. That's when I was scared. When I made it to YTS.
Oh, okay.
That's
what was scary about that?
When getting to Norwalk was my first time in the youth authority. And when I went to youth authority from juvenile hall, I didn't have as much knowledge. So when I made it to Norwalk, my level of education and experience wasn't as high. So there was nervousness there. And I had just got bullied into being a blood, or per se a Crenshaw Mafia by WAC 100, because I'm from Moneyside Hustlers, which is now the Ransom Mob Bloods.
Not the WAC 100 we know though,
The
right?
WAC 100 that we know, Manager 100, was the neighborhood bully on K. He was actually on M&N in Juvenile Hall in Central, but there were 3 WACs there. And you had Big WAC, which was Bully WAC, and they all were buff and aggressive. And then he was doing what he was doing now, manipulating and calling shots. But that dude had just left from here. So
WAC 100 was here too?
Yeah, WAC 100, this is where he started. So when I met him in Juvenile Hall, he was hiding there under an alias, trying to avoid coming back on parole. So he was a little older than us, and that intimidated me going into Y, knowing there were people like him there. So it was fear entering Y, and then I seen like, oh, I could do this. It's just like camp. We're all seeing each other. Like I know him from here, here, and here. Now going in for the youngsters now, it's a different system. So I don't want to give you knowledge that you can't use, but the best knowledge is just don't go. I've never been to prison, and that's your goal right now as a young homie to avoid, because prison wasn't an option. They tried to rehabilitate us as youth. Now they're punishing us. They want this to end. They're trying to deter us with time, death penalty, 3 strikes, and things similar to that. And all you gotta do basically is find your lane. It's hard to abide by a land of rules when we feel the rules were made by the enemy, oppressor, or the person who made our mom and father neglect us or do drugs. But if you're using one part of that theory, you have to remember that the other part of that theory is so that we can gang bang and kill each other. So you can't say, I'm not following this system because it was made for my mama to smoke crack. But then you gotta realize it was made for your mama to smoke crack, so that when it came down for you to be taught and installed morals and ethics and values, they would be gang related, drug related, and abnormal to society so that they could put you here. Their goal though was, I would hope, to change us so much so that these prisons could be closed down and these places could have been our homes. Come to this program here in Fred C. Nellis, and if y'all do this well and make the murder rate and the crime rate in California deduce to this level, we'll build this for you guys. It's reasonably possible because we see it. This used to be where I've been beat up here. My feeling was knocked out by Crazo from rolling 60s somewhere in here. So that means that they could actually give us money, and I wouldn't say give, but hold over our head a certain amount of money. And this is my logic to stop gangs. And I wouldn't say per se gangs, but the violence that come with the gangs. And if you really advertise it as a positive incentive, because that's what we were taught, because 98% of the prison population comes from the youth authority. That's where the recidivism rate comes from, that those don't understand. It's like they keep track of us like animals lost in the wild. They put a tracker on us. That's our parole number, our social security number, our criminal record. That's like our thing they put on the dolphin that goes missing, you know, and they keep a track of where he goes and migrates to. In theoretical pretense, that's what they were doing with us by creating paperwork, is watching the process of our mentality and criminal behavior. And I figured this out while I was here. Not at this facility though, because here I was still lost like everyone else. But when I got to YTS and started meeting brothers coming from prison that were being taught by the other individuals older than us that this was a trap. It's a theory from a very upset Confederate captain that lost a war that he thought he would win when he had to let go slavery. So whenever somebody is done wrong, retribution is always there, and that's incarceration.
So Fred C. Nellis, all right, so you enter, what was like the first day like? What goes on when someone enters, especially when they have, quote, gang ties or street ties or whatever?
As you can see, this was all a facility. This was similar to the walkway, but they had driveways. So we would come in vans. It wasn't like they would walk you from the orientation to the regular unit. The only place we would walk would be this here chapel. This would be, now, so my first time seeing activity here was right here in this area with the Florence, Bandit, Kid, and Kid is very famous because he was the dude that said he would like to throw a grenade into a pile of black people and watch them go kaboom. That was Kid from Florence on that A&E gangland. That was him right here doing that with the Florences and East Coasters getting down right here. And the 18th Streets jumped in with the East Coasters. It was weird. That's how this institution ran, which is different than prison. And I've heard a lot of people question me interviewing Gucci from 40 and our relationship. That's a YA baby thing. I love everybody that was in YA. It was, if you were strong, you were respected and liked. If you were weak, then you were like, it was a totem pole. So we didn't see by color based on everybody could get at each other. There was no such thing as Crips sticking together and Blood sticking together. It was every man for himself. So a lot of independence was taught here. And I can't remember who the pastor was at the church. If there was ever people that came and inquired, that's how much gang activity happened here. Like when I got older, I paid more attention to God. But here it was so much about gangbanging, you would be considered a punk to go in there. I think that's why the fights always started here. I would think then, when I was young and always trying to respect God, I just think that they just didn't want to go into the church, being that they were too much that machismo and that ego and pride. The main thing going through my mind is, how many residents here know where they stand? Do you know I used to be here? People have been stabbed here. The homie from Harlem was hit in the head.
You got white people on golf carts.
In white. This is, now see, this would be right here, the orientation unit, Truman, because it was right next to the church. So now I'm getting where we at now.
Okay.
And it was probably the size of these little homes. Like, they knew what the YA was about. It's the orientation unit. So they're only gonna be here a month at most. So it's the smallest. And
So in 95, how old were you?
I was 15.
Okay, so 15. So you're right in the middle of that, because 12 to 19, that's a big jump. For a
Yeah.
12-year-old to come in here?
And at 15, I was more advanced then. Like, I look at my 15, I have 3 16-year-olds right now. And I look at them, they wouldn't have been able to deal with what I was.
Not even a
Not
quarter
here,
of it.
like,
Not
oh,
even
my
a
poor
quarter of it.
babies. And I was like, am I that much harder than them? And it comes to the mentality. That's what really led me to understand that we were groomed. It's like molded into what we were. And not on a conspiracy theorist level, but just on an educational level. If you really look at it, they're not concerned about what makes young black and Latinos kill black and Latinos. It's not until an area like the Palladium and the Crips with the Babalu robbery murder of the leather coat in Hollywood, and incidents involving a white USC college law student shot by an African American. Hey, how's it going, brother?
How you
Do
doing?
you know right here used to be a juvenile correctional facility?
Yeah, I did know that.
I was just wondering, because I used to be here as a youth, and now I'm a published author, and I was just wondering if the people who lived here knew. So they told you as you were moving in?
And like there's like a lot of like on like the pamphlet, I remember there's all like the information.
Wow, you wouldn't have a problem with this being on YouTube. That's what I'm doing now.
I'm not
as a
putting. I wouldn't
YouTube
put you on
influencer.
camera. So I got your
Yeah.
voice though. If that's okay with you.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. But that's all I wanted to know. Did they tell y'all that? Like,
Yeah,
this
no,
used
like,
to be
they
rumbling
do
around here.
advertise this as like it's like original. At least
Yeah, I
like,
did
the
10 years.
architecture.
10 from 14 to 24. Through this, I started here for 2 years. And I didn't know it was toy. He's just bringing me here.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I'm an amazing. Like, I know. So you have
Okay,
a blessed day,
okay.
brother.
Take care, buddy. Yeah, man. So I guess it
Hello.
kind of advertised as
We're famous.
Fred NELLES, huh?
And think of that, being that I met somebody that did 9 years in Wide. And y'all probably know him, those that really study gang history, is a Pomona 12th Street killing at a liquor store. Selling a lot of historic videos because they were all caught and apprehended. But Speedy and Porky from 12th Street, they were here. They did 9 years. And I was just freshly getting here, meeting a big Hispanic dude, the most muscular. Everybody that was in Wide knows Speedy from 12th Street because he was the buff, like Arnold Schwarzenegger looking dude. And they were astonished at his 9 years. I was only 2 years in when I met him. And I did 10 here. So that shows you why it was designed to just, if you're gonna make it, we'll hurry up and get you right and get you onto life or send you to prison. It wasn't designed to have me here for 10 years being tortured and, like I said, molded and groomed. It's wild.
You said torture. That's a big word. That's a strong word. What
Torture is the physical part of it. Because once I graduated from here to Paso Robles, they would make us go on our knees. They would put us in handcuffs, like if we misbehaved, instead of giving us more time or documenting our behavior, it became us getting into, they call it Gym TD, which I spoke of with my boy American Cholo, from him being a white baby himself. And I know they don't got a swimming pool. I know my boy is gonna be really mad when they see this, because that's one thing we
You didn't have a swimming pool?
Not in Nellis, Paso had one. YTS
Yeah.
didn't have one either.
Those white folks said we need a swimming pool.
And not only, look how beautiful that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this video, Dusty's gonna be the first. Because last time I seen YTS, it was still a facility. But this is inspirational. Because I'm from Inglewood, as y'all know. And to be living there now is something to be a goal. Here for us YA babies that say we did time here. Tell me, Batman, you wouldn't want to buy a home here where you ran around this bend several times, wreaking havoc. Because I do. They have garages, and they're not trying to keep us a secret. That made me feel special when that gentleman let me know that he knew that this was the youth authority before. Because it means that they're not trying to deprive our memory from society. And that's dope for me, because I've done a lot of time and change in order to be a reflection or example of how other juveniles should get out and avoid going to prison and being in a position to buy this. This isn't for rent. I would think
No, this
that
is
you would
definitely
own
bought.
each one of
You are
these
definitely,
individual units.
yeah, these are condos type shit over here for sure.
Goal
Yeah.
oriented. Oh,
Yeah.
we still are there.
The Asian dude got ratted us out, motherfucker.
The white people are back.
The water hoses, I mean the fucking sprinklers are gonna start turning on and shit.
Let's get them out of here.
Yeah, what nice as fuck, whatever
There
it
goes
is.
a golf course.
Right? It's Fred C.
Come
Nellis.
on, guys.
We're Fred C. Nellis.
Come on, guys. A golf course?
Okay, Mayberry Homes across the street.
1, 2. You got about 12 holes.
Damn. That's crazy, huh?
Maybe this thing right here tells us something about.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Agricultural reform. I see reform. Let's see if they're talking about the reform that we're
I see juvenile.
there we go. Oh shit. When the reform, there we go.
Baby can read.
There it is. All right.
When the Reform School for Juvenile Offenders was founded in 1891, I said 1855, you see, I went that far off. Agriculture was an integral component both for instruction of the wards, and that's a ward of the state of California. So when you got committed to the California Youth Authority, you became a ward of the state. So y'all heard that song, look it up, Google, Ward of the State. Ascari X was in YA with us, made that song and got signed. That's what we were, wards. And to provide the majority of food supplies for the institution.
Damn.
Agriculture, that's something they didn't teach us in YA.
That would have been interesting to
And
know
especially
too,
with the Latino population, that could have motivated a lot of people to fly towards more Cesar Chavez than to do in American Me that they try to be like.
There's the name we know right there.
Fred C. Nellis, tenure as a superintendent, so that is where the name comes from. Now here it is. I was a ward here, highly educated, and I observed information like a sponge, and these are things that they didn't teach us.
Damn,
But
that
I
would be
can
cool
tell
to
you
know,
every
man.
game from San Diego to Northridge and Sacramento.
That could have changed somebody's life, just knowing little shit like this.
Education. This is what they wanted to deprive us of.
Damn.
1943 booklet promoting Fred C. Nellis School described the agriculture nature of the property. The farm includes about fight crip, that's everywhere. There's also a young, okay, this is a word I never seen. Let's see if I can get this. Deciduous.
Damn, that's a good.
I'm
I
gonna
would
look
say,
that
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Orchard of about 350 trees and occupying about 25 acres, which was planted in the spring of 1943. I would love to know which wards planted that and where their life is now.
Yeah.
And us wards that broke the institution open when they decided to take the weights away.
That's crazy. That's how I
Those are
look
two
at-
classes to look at, two
Yeah.
different groups. We can see, because they keep numbers, how good did the group that planted these seeds in 1943 do after their sentence compared to the groups like myself who suffered from the weights and taking the weights and the privileges we lost when Miss Baker was killed in Chino while I was here in 1996.
What happened with that?
Wow, this was I wasn't in the institution at the time. I was here in Nellis, but in Chino, the adult YA, a woman staff was murdered and put into the the trash, dumped into the trash can and sent to the Pomona landfill. So her husband was a police captain at the prison across the street, Chino Man Prison. And his wife didn't come home. He came over and seen her car there. So they searched the institution, broke everything down, and 3 days later they found her body in a landfill. The first female, her name was Eunice Baker. You can Google that too. Miss Baker was killed in 1996. The first youth offender staff killed in YA. Only staff killed in YA. She was a black sister. And from what my understanding, she was very motherly. But that changed. They took the weights away, the pornography, the cigarettes. These are things that they had before then to relieve stress. So when I came through, my generation depended on fighting, hating each other, grouping, like, oh, these people are these people. What we're seeing on social media between YouTubers. It's a worthless waste of energy, time, and a platform when we could be teaching people about agriculture.
Now the CYA system, as you knew it back then, doesn't exist anymore, correct?
No, they actually, it went from, it was the California, it's now CDC. It's not, it's their joint. So it's a prison, they intertwined it with prison, and they downsized the juvenile facilities. So now there's more 18-year-old, like where I was at Chino, YTS that everybody heard of, that's now a prison for adults. No longer a youth authority system, and their parole is different. There are a lot of different things than when I did my time here. Because like I said, they ran out of people to put these, they didn't have jobs for the parole officers in YA, and it faded out. And prison became the new goal for the youngsters, and the money worked out better, and they had somewhere they could build $1 million homes and make as much as they could off a kid in one group for over 10 years. That's like each house is, I helped build these places. Like that's 5 years Frank gave to these people right there.
Yeah, you did it again, man. 5.
It's
Five.
there. I'm gonna go to the casino. I might go home tonight to Vegas just to play the 5.
So, what? Why do you know why the CYA system was formed in the first place, and what got someone to CYA?
Oh yeah, as we can see right here, 91 because of the riot, 1891. In 1891, the biggest crime was people, like we were just talking about the gold rush. So that's when a lot of people was fleeing to Frisco to find gold. So stealing people's tools to find gold, finding equipment, theft. Those were the basic things that sent people in 1891 to the youth authority. Now, when I became of age in 1994, they actually evaluated your history, your commitment offense, which is the crime that you committed to have you before the judge. And it was all of those things balled up in one, which put you before a parole board. And those people then, so like a judge would say, okay, you've done this and this and that. We have 15 years to rehabilitate you and work with you. But that's not meaning you're gonna do 15 years. What it means is when you get to the parole board, they have a certain list of, categories. So depending on your crime, petty crime, it go category 1 through 7. And 1 and 4 being a full board category, meaning that 1 through 4, you have to complete at least 5 board ordered certifications, which mean victims impact, where they teach you about traumatic experiences, direct victims, indirect victims, and the things that you're supposed to do to show remorse and things like that. Then you had the lower levels of anger management, drug awareness. Then you had parenting class, and I didn't have no kids then. Most of us didn't have kids, and the staff took these, or not staff, these were outside contractors that came in to teach us these courses. They didn't take it serious. They tried to make money by selling us contraband. Some of them were having sex with the ward. So we were taught young here not to take things serious. So if you got a baby daddy and he just can't get it serious and he a white baby, it's because of the mentality that we were given. And they really didn't take it serious, because they should be having kids here learning from people like me instead of sending them straight to prison now and making money off of where they could have been helping. it's really a sad situation when you look at it. At the same time, there is growth there, and those people would be working with otherwise not. There's always a positive and a negative spin, but when it comes down to rehabilitating and training, that should be the forefront of any politician's legislation.
I'm just tripping because I live about 6 minutes away from here, and I didn't even know there's this many white people that live near me.
A lot of kids gonna really feel this. Like, this is NELLES.
So you said 375,000 people made their way through Fred
In
C.
my
NELLES?
10 years.
Oh,
That's
in only
through the
10.
whole California.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, in my 10 years. Like, it took them 3 million and some change to, that's how much it cost me at, I want to say it was $182,000 a year to house, feed, tattoo removal. So every youth is different.
What was the best thing about your experience here, and what was the worst thing about your experience here?
Let's see, best.
Even if it just taught you something, you know, that you were able to...
Okay, I got it. Remember how you asked me in the beginning, was I scared when I got here? Honestly, no. So that was, I credit that to Norwalk, taking away fear. Now, when I got here, my fear that was taken away, it wasn't giving courage. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't fear. Like, I didn't know if I would just smooth sail, but coming here let me know I can go anywhere. It built the courage and a sense of survival. So starting here, being so little, so young, odds so against me that I had no way to survive but to endure. So that's what this was, the best experience. And the worst experience is it made me dependent on my homeboys. Because remember you said, I told you we already little solo and all of us in Norwalk. We came here with an army. Now I probably would have been scared coming here without them. So it made me dependent on a crowd. That was the bad thing. So when I got to the next spot and I was the only blood on this unit with all these big J Cap and all them K-Dog from Village Showline, and I'm the only blood and the little guy, and ain't shit without my homeboys, it made the odds very different, and that's where I learned to be a whole different beast. So, but it started here, and I would say that if you interview anybody that's been to Fred's place, that's what we call this, Fred's place, they'll say this is where their heart began. Yeah, because they would line us up. We'd be lined up right here. They had the staff right here. Oh, I figured out what that would be. This the church, that's the child hall.
Okay.
And that's what's notorious about NELLES. I almost forgot the notorious child hall.
Ah, shit, tell us about the
So
chow
now
hall.
remember, Truman is the area where you're new booty, fresh from Norwalk. You're over here on Truman. So you see the close proximity. These are the fishes, what they call new booties, the very newcomers to the institution. So they wanted them next to the church, next to the school area, and next to the chow hall. So it was our job to busboy. And the hallway would be from like where we standing here to the curb. All tables, 150 kids. So now one unit comes in, they sit and eat. Then it's a whole another 100.
So where we're standing right now, was it covered or was it a...
The kitchen was covered.
Okay.
That was covered. This being the bin, there was like a track that goes all the way around to where you could follow. Like they just tell you, follow the road. So there was a road that goes all the way through. But coming to the chow hall, it's too much distance. Cause see the distance from there to here, and one staff be down here, and one staff be down there. Some go down in that middle by that trash can. It's all, you all on your own. And so when this unit of people go out, here I come with the bucket, cleaning the table. So everybody over here as I'm going, hey, where you from, homie? Where you from? So you getting your hood dish, you seeing enemies. That was one of the most fearful things. And now when I think about it, if we're being honest, I wasn't scared going to NELLES, but I was scared coming out there, chow, to be honest, because I'ma always be real, because I gotta teach what I want other people to try to live, and we have to live in our truth. And that was a very intimidating part of going to white. There was a sound. It was like, you know, most people hear, like, this sound should be trademarked. Because if the police around, they don't want, hey, where you from? You like, once you got their attention, that was scary.
Damn,
that was scary.
Okay.
I remember that.
Was the food like what, typical school food, or what are we talking? Was it shitty food? Was it decent? Was it better than what you had at home?
It definitely wasn't better than home.
Okay.
Definitely that. I don't remember anything here look worthy forward to. YTS, there was the cheeseburger every third Friday.
Okay.
So every third Friday, you knew you was gonna get you a cheeseburger. So that was the people would collect like Kool-Aids or noodles and try to make trays for the cheeseburger. Like Friday coming up, I got 5 noodles for 1 burger. So that was a big day to look forward to as far as food in the youth authority. But here in Nellis, they did a lot of, like I said, the family night, and at visiting at one point you could bring in food until Miss Baker got killed. So we really didn't care what we was eating because we was getting fed.
So Miss Baker gets killed and they punish everybody, it sounds like. Is that what I'm understanding?
When Miss Baker got killed, there were people in the institution here, right here, that had life with no possibility of parole. So you're here with a 17-year-old kid that has a life sentence. So when Miss Baker got killed, every one of, I want to say it was 1,675, something like that. M numbers, that's what they were called.
Okay.
Adult sentences as juveniles. So they were juveniles tried as adults and sentenced as adults. And they built a Tehatchee PR just for them. So they got rounded up out of every institution, every M number, even if they weren't lifers.
Wow.
And that was, the 1,000 was the lifers.
There's 2 more white people. Hide your wallet.
Oh, that's just Karen and Sam. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, little guy?
Hi.
Children are the future.
They are.
And as
definitely.
long as we set the example of, I see, when I was growing up, I see drinking, what's up, little blood?
Yeah.
Negative examples. So now we install, that just scared me the way he looked at us.
Yeah, he did.
Any
He has
other
never
child would be
seen.
like,
He has never seen
us.
one. Yeah,
He never
and
seen
we
us.
ain't super dark, dog. Like, we, you know what I'm
But he
saying?
just know we're not part of his culture.
Yeah, isn't that nuts, man?
We might not want to be living over here.
That's
Start
crazy.
walking
I
back
saw
to
the
the car.
same exact look. He's
Stone
like,
cold, like what are them?
yeah, I see you on TV, but not.
That's the people from
Yeah.
Empire.
They do wear red.
Empire, yep.
That's what happens. You're wearing red. I'm wearing blue. They're like,
It's Snoop Dogg
true.
and Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace.